All right, guys, we are back. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy CMB checking in. And guys, once again, it's prediction time. It is fight week, and we have ourselves a big heavyweight fight taking place in the UK, in London, at the O2 Arena. We have Derek Chisora taking on none other than the former WBC heavyweight champion of the world, the Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder. First of all, let me shout out the UK fans. I know I don't show you guys enough love. Uh, I'll say this. When I went to Deontay Wilder's first fight with Tyson Fury, uh, you guys showed up. I was surprised at how you guys actually showed up to the fight. You guys showed up to the weigh-in. You guys were representing. And, I just saw the passion coming from the UK fans. So shout out to you guys, by the way. But anyway, we have this big fight coming up. And it's not a fight about titles. This is more of a crossroads thing for both fighters, in my opinion. You guys know Derek Chisora is planning on hanging it up after this fight. Deontay Wilder, I'm not quite sure. I think this may determine whether or not he hangs it up or maybe continue on his quest to become a one face, one name in the heavyweight division. So we'll just have to see what happens, after the fight, what both of these guys are going to do. But anyway, let's talk about it. Both of these guys. Let's look at Deontay Wilder, guys. Deontay Wilder is 44-4. He's 40 years of age now. He's no spring chicken. You guys know that. 6'6", 83-inch arm reach. His last three fights, he won his last fight with Terrell Herdan, and that was a TKO win. That was back in June of last year. He lost. He had a TKO loss to Big Bang Zhang. You guys remember that one. And he had a unanimous decision loss to Joseph Parker. And the thing I like about Wilder, I looked at his last fight. I think he made some adjustments in his fight game. Things that we've seen before, but not seen him utilize, on, I would say, on a consistent basis. When he fought Herdan, I noticed that he worked behind his jab. He kept his jab pumping. He set up his right hand behind his jab, and he would use a check left hook. He was being very careful. I think a lot more defensively responsible in a sense. So that's what I saw coming from him in this fight, in his last fight with Terrell Herdan. Now, I'm going to say this. I think this honestly is a 50-50 fight. Both guys have unique things about them that they bring to the table, and it's going to be, my thing is, it's going to be who makes the mistake first. Now let's look at Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora, he's 36-13, 6'1.5" tall, guys. He has a 74-inch arm reach. His last three fights were with Otto Wallin, Joe Joyce, Gerald Washington, and he won all those fights by unanimous decision. Now, the thing that he brings to the table, you guys know he's a pressure fighter. He's a volume puncher, and he's a very durable athlete. He has a chin on him, and he's just not going to stop coming. And like I said, I do see this as a 50-50 fight. And I'm going to say this, I'm rooting for Wilder. I'm an American, so I got to stick with my home country guy. But you guys know I don't sugarcoat things on this channel. I tell it, I call it like I see it. And even though I think this is a 50-50 fight, I'm going to have to give Chisora the edge in this fight for a few reasons. Now, the thing with Wilder, like I said, in the last fight, he did utilize his jab a lot more. And my thing is this, he's not consistent with it all the time. We've seen that in the past. When he gets in trouble, he stops with the jab and then he starts throwing these telegraph right hands. I think that's going to be a problem with someone like Derek Chisora. I noticed in the fight too, he looked a little lethargic. He looked tired. He looked slow. And as the fight continued, he would leave his right hand down. He wouldn't be protecting himself with his right hand. Even though he was throwing the jab, the right hand was down. And, that leaves him wide open for an overhand left shot. And I'm quite sure, Chisora sees that. He's going to take advantage of that. And another thing, Wilder is not that great of a fighter on his back foot. You know, you guys see that. You guys know that he's going to be pressured by Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora, like I said, he's a volume puncher, so he's going to be throwing a lot of shots. And I think, you know, he has the better inside fight game. Wilder doesn't have a great inside fight game. So Wilder needs to keep Derek honest with that jab. He needs to keep that jab pumping, you know, double up on the jab. He's gonna win the fight on the outside. But I just don't think he's going to be able to keep Chisora off of him, and that's the problem. I wouldn't say Wilder's chin is weak, but you know he's been knocked out. So you know both these guys been knocked out, but Wilder seems a little bit more shell shocked in my opinion. We saw the fight with Derek with Joseph Parker, and he just seemed reluctant to let his hands go. So I think that weighs in the back of his mind, that and you know the wars with Tyson Fury. And you know he's just very emotional about that, and I think sometimes that plays against him in the fight, and I just see it not working out for him in this fight. Even though I want him to win, I want him to have an opportunity to become a champion again in the sport, you know, I just don't see it, you know, in this fight. I could be wrong, you know, sometime I'm wrong, sometime I'm right, but I just see Derek Chisora pressuring him, throwing a lot of punches, going to the body. I see Wilder with his hands down and getting caught with a looping overhand left hand. And I just see a lot of scenarios where Wilder gets knocked out in the fight. So I'm going to say Derek Chisora by knockout, 7th round. That's my prediction for the fight, guys. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Wilder can pull this out. You guys know Wilder does have that great equalizer, that right hand. But is it still as powerful as it once was? You know, we don't really know that. But we'll see. You know, it's boxing. Anything can happen. Chisora can get caught. You know, Wilder could set up that right hand. I think Wilder, I think the longer the fight goes, is the more I think Derek Chisora is going to win the fight. I think Wilder needs to take him out early. If Wilder's going to win this fight, he's got to take Chisora out early, in the early rounds. But anyway, guys, that's my prediction. You guys let me know what you think. Do you think Chisora washes Wilder? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think Wilder is going to put Chisora lights out? You guys let me know how you feel about it in the comment section. It's the CMB. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.